What's in the water you're drinking? How do you know the quality of your drinking water? The majority of Nebraskans get their drinking water from groundwater. But what's the quality of drinking water that comes from the groundwater near you? Know Your Well is a hands-on interactive project for high schools in Nebraska. You'll be able to research the wells in your area and reach out to the owners to ask about the history of the well and the quality of its water. Then you'll go out into the field to the wells to collect water samples and survey the well and land around it. Afterwards, you and your group will test the samples for different possible contaminants at your school with testing kits. You'll also be able to use social media to help raise awareness of well testing to earn prizes. You may also have the chance to present findings at conferences to a wider audience. In addition, working with this project allows you the opportunity to earn scholarship money for college. Know Your Well is a great way for you to know more about the groundwater in your community and your state.
My name is Sarah Brock. I am the graduate student supporting the Know Your Well program. I'd just like to say thank you so much for considering our program, and I'm excited to tell you more about it and about how you can help us develop a mobile application for data collection. Know Your Well is a Nebraska Environmental Trust funded project that trains high school students to sample and test domestic well water. From its inception in 2016, Know Your Well has brought citizen science into the classroom to not only increase groundwater testing throughout Nebraska, but also to showcase the vulnerability of groundwater quality and to stress the importance of safe drinking water for rural residents and communities. In the past 6 years, Know Your Well has been implemented in more than 28 school districts throughout the state. The newest grant includes support from the University of Nebraska-Kearney, the Nebraska Department of Environment and Energy, and 13 natural resource districts, including the Papio Missouri River NRD, who's administering this grant. The Know Your Well program invites high school students to participate in a scientific data collection project while also providing them the training and tools to become amateur water scientists themselves. Citizen science projects similar to Know Your Well have been shown to improve ACT science section scores and empower students to engage in decision-making conversations with their peers and community. Beyond basic data collection, the goal of the Know Your Well program is to build upon the knowledge and confidence students gain during participation and introduce them to careers related to hydrology. Participating students may also be eligible for scholarships to pursue hydrology, geology, or engineering-related degrees if they choose to attend UNL. Know Your Well previously utilized an iOS application for data collection. Students recorded descriptive and geographic information about well sites in the field, including nearby land use, well construction, water table depth, and GPS coordinates. Information about the wells was saved on the app until the device could connect to an internet network. And then the information was uploaded to the Know Your Well database, which was formerly housed on the computer science and engineering server. Due to updates in the App Store that made the iOS app inaccessible, students now use a series of Google Forms to collect the same information. While the forms have no geotagging capabilities and don't work without an internet connection, students can access print versions of the form and upload batches of information after coming back from a day of sampling. Your help building a new mobile application located on an ITS server will allow easier data collection in the field, return accurate geotagging capabilities, and allow independent and ongoing data retrieval by schools and the research team. Once we have all this information, and once all the data is collected from the app, researchers need to manually compile the water sciences laboratory results and student-submitted data to the schools. Working with their local natural resources district, students then report all this information back to the well owner. Data is also aggregated by the research team to provide a descriptive look at Nebraska's groundwater. Many local water tests and testers will only look for known contaminants or analytes of a particular concern, such as nitrate, copper, manganese, or uranium. The Know Your Well program allows researchers and students to look at all of those, but also see other components of water health, such as pH, conductivity, and hardness. As I said before, your help is needed to develop a mobile application that returns key data collection features back into the hands of participating schools. Many of these students may be experiencing hydrology, citizen science, or mobile data reporting for the first time. An intuitive and highly functional application is important to keep the barrier for entry low, so we can welcome students at all levels. While this app is being developed, the research team is also working to address other priorities. Phase 2 and Phase 3 involve improving the website for automated data collation and select user or school interfaces with improved security measures. Phase 4, improving or redesigning the iOS application, can begin only once we have a reliable and functional data collection app and have those associated web improvements.
Hello, my name is Mark Misarch. I'm a web and database specialist with the School of Natural Resources and part of the Know Your Well team. For desired outcomes, we'd like a mobile application to be able to collect data because many of our data points are not going to be where there's internet or cell phone coverage. So we need to be able to collect that data and then send it to a centralized database at a later point in time. Our data schema is well fixed, so we don't need that redefined. But what is interesting about our data is that we have different types of data that are collected over different time periods, but are all related together. And that's where we'll need some data validation so that then the user can select the well that they're collecting water analysis or images of land use to the particular well. And once again, we want the data to be able to, at some point, be uploaded, whether or not once you're connected to the internet or a user-initiated push to the centralized database. For our technical applications, once again, we want the automated uploads from that application to the centralized database. We want to make sure that we have some sort of user level security so that we know only people who we have registered can be collecting data and submitting that. And then those particular users can only retrieve the data for the data that they have collected, and not for other schools or other groups as well. We want some consistency across platforms, since we know that there might be the application may be developed with an Android, for an iPhone, for the web. We want that consistency of the user experience across the platforms. And we know the current project is about 5 years old. It could last another 10 years. We want that user interface to be easily adaptable. So if we change the type of data, we add, we delete, we modify what the data that's being collected, that can be changed easily. We want to be able to use the device's features such as GPS coordinating and cameras on the device, so that that information can also be included in the data stream and added to the centralized database. The environment that the system will live in hasn't been set exactly yet. We're thinking a Microsoft environment, maybe Microsoft Azure, or just a general Microsoft environment. We want to be able to use an API for that database interactions so that we can take advantage of getting through firewalls, the university security, being able to use that data connections that might exist, being able to use authentication systems that already might exist. Hopefully that can be written in ASP.NET, in C#, so that when you're done with a project, people on our team can still have a chance to modify it or understand the coding that went on behind it. And maybe the single sign-on system that the university is using for authentication, that can be used, and we can set up our users that aren't necessarily at the university as affiliates. Identify the challenges. We want this to be flexible, efficient, intuitive. We have to remember that we don't want to have a manual to figure out how to use the application. We might have a manual for documentation of what was developed, but we'll be working with high school students, teachers, natural resource district staff that they'll be using. They might not necessarily be technically savvy, but they will understand some things. And then remembering the variability of the internet and cell phone coverage. We, once we have certain projects or portions of the project developed, we might have future ones. So we don't want to be tied in or locked into very specific application developments. And once again, we realize technology is changing very fast over time, and hopefully we can develop systems that can work across platforms. So thank you again for listening to our Know Your Well pitch video. Hopefully we'll be meeting with some of you in the near future as being part of our team. But if you do have questions between watching the video and between the team seeing set up, please check with Sarah or Dan. Once again, thank you for listening to Know Your Well.